Elise Allen, senior correspondent for Crux, is traveling with Pope Francis. She joins us now from Congo. Hi, Elise.
Hello, Christine.
So, Elise, we just saw a video of Pope Francis in a wheelchair and with a cane. As you know, the trip was postponed from last July because of the Pope's knee problems. How is the 86-year-old pontiff holding up?
The Pope is still going. He's still making this trip, and he was bright and cheery this morning and greeting us all. You can still see that he's strong, even in terms of his physical limitations. He's still strong, but he did seem a little tired and sore. He'd mentioned in a recent interview that the diverticulitis, for which he had surgery a couple of years ago, has returned. And so you could see that a little bit. He seemed slightly uncomfortable and tired today, as we saw him on the Papal flight, but he was still there. He was still making his best effort to be cheerful for us, and he's obviously so very committed to making these trips and to being there for the people of the Congo and the South Sudan.
And you mentioned the flight. On the plane, the Pope did take a moment while flying over the Sahara to pray for migrants. The desert is the only escape route for those trying to find a better life in Europe. Talk about how dangerous of a trek that is.
Well, a lot of experts will say that this is actually one of the most dangerous routes that migrants can take. I mean, you're talking about extreme heat, extreme temperatures, hours under the sun, and many of the migrants who go that route are traveling with human smugglers, and these guys often they pack them in and they give them very precious little resources, because you need a little bit to go a long way if you're going to make this trip. And so oftentimes there are very dire circumstances that are kind of pushing people to the extreme. And so there have been, some reports say there have been at least 2,000 reported deaths in the Sahara since 2014, but that number is actually far higher because most of these deaths are not reported.
Just awful. Now, the Pope didn't mince words when he spoke today. Let's listen quickly.
Hands off the Democratic Republic of Congo. Hands off Africa. Stop choking Africa.
Pretty strong words there. The Holy Father condemning exploitation, saying the country hasn't benefited from its own resources. What did he say needs to change?
Well, as you heard from that little clip, that one remark from the Pope, it got thunderous applause. So people are really receiving his message here. They're excited about what he has to say, and for the Pope, what he said really needs to change for this country to move forward, is there needs to be an end to exploitation. There needs to be an end of kind of a for-profit mentality where global superpowers come in and pillage the land and do nothing to develop the country and help it stand on its own 2 feet, and they do nothing to stop the conflict that is ravaging the eastern regions and kind of bringing this and keeping this country on its knees. He said, so a lot of that needs to change, and he specifically mentioned investments in education and in young people, because Africa is such a young continent. Youth are really the future here, so he really stressed the need to invest in the future by investing in them and in social structures that are not just temporary, but are going to last.
Really quickly, I know Congo, it has a large Catholic population. The church is politically powerful. It's often on the front lines in the country. Tell us about the church's humanitarian efforts there.
Well, it's a good question. The church is at the front lines. This country has been ravaged by decades of conflict, and there's fighting ongoing in the eastern regions, and there are millions of dead and displaced. And the church, through various organizations, Caritas, Catholic Relief Services, the Advocacy Foundation, is on the front lines providing humanitarian assistance, emergency aid, food security, sanitation, really trying to help people who need those really basic needs. And Pope Francis tomorrow will meet with members of some charities who are active in Congo to show his support to these guys who are really, at times, putting their own safety on the line to help people in need.
All right, Elise Allen, senior correspondent for Crux, and we will check back in with you tomorrow.
Thank you, Christine.
Hi, I'm Christine Persichetti, anchor of Currents News. If you like what you saw, please hit the like button on this video. And if you want to see more content just like it, subscribe and click on the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching, because we are putting your faith in the news.